Hey all, good morning. Sorry last week there wasn't an awful lot of videos. Um, tell you the truth, I didn't I didn't get a chance to take my usual morning walks. So yeah, that left a little bit of a void. Um, today's Saturday, the 9th of August. Um, I wanted to give you all a couple of thoughts and an update on kind of what's going on and what I have planned for the upcoming week, and what I observe. So, the first thing, uh, looking back over the last 2 months or so, um, I just wanted to take a second to reiterate. Um, I think the best analogy for 10x scaling, right? So we did about 2,000 units in 3 years, right? And now we're looking to do 2,000 units, 2,500 units every month, right? It's important to realize that that is not um, a subtle transition, right? It's more like a violent takeover. Uh, in general, everything, every process, every idea, um, pretty much most concepts um, have to be put to the wayside, right? It's uh, it's a very, very, very different um, environment, right, that we're in. So you need to be comfortable doing things differently, right? Because the thoughts, the tools, the process, that got you to 2,000 units in 3 years. Um, it would be silly to think that that is that those are the tools, the process, right, the concepts that will get you to 2,500 a month. Um, this kind of scaling really is much more of um, a violent event, and requires much more of a wartime um, concept. Not wartime in the sense that we have to, destroy and kill people, right? Because we didn't want to do that. But we have to make decisions quickly, right? We have to um, be comfortable making critical decisions with less than optimal um, data, right? And we have to be comfortable doing things differently. So, okay, so enough of that. What I'd like to talk about now, just a little bit, um, is where we are from an operations standpoint, and why I think I'm going to need to do some of the things that I'm going to propose. One, so we do have 4 engines that we have to kick into gear. Uh, and if as I've mentioned before, design, PMO, deployment, and logistics, right? They have to be um, started, implemented. Right, 1 second. This my neighborhood, but and probably the hardest thing is to get them started, right? You're going to learn more in the first 2 weeks of starting a process than you will in 6 weeks of thinking about starting a process. Um, so as far as design goes, we made a decision, as a leadership team, back at the beginning of July, that we have a process for hiring, and we were gonna do that, right? Of course, that delayed some potential hiring as we go through the process. Right? I don't think anybody will know whether that's the right decision or not, maybe ever, right? But there certainly are consequences to to making that decision. So at this point, 6 weeks later, we don't have any design help except for a couple of 8-hour a month part-time folks. So that certainly is problematic. The other issue is the 90-day consultants, right? They're in their implementation phase, and they really need a lot of my attention. I've purchased all the software, the enterprise software. It's all in kind of the AirVivo domain, and by the end of the month, that needs to be implemented and rolled out. That coincides with iServe is starting up again in 10 days with the Fairweather properties. I believe I'll be able to get Centerline started sometime in September. The delay that was caused by pushing the schedule by 6 weeks, due to being able to get all the kickoff meetings in and stuff like that, has cost us a vendor at least for September. So ITC reached out to me yesterday when I was looking for their preparedness for September, and say they've lost their lead, the one in Massachusetts that has the low voltage license, and I'm going to talk with them on Monday. I'm not really sure if they have much of an appetite. I think they do, right? Because it's not a lot of work, but they seem to have a fair amount of work around the country. So if ITC is less than willing to kind of keep going, then I'm going to have to source another vendor. There's more vendors out there. Just takes time, right? Just takes time and attention, and working with them to get them to a contract that works for AirVivo based on the budget that's set, right? So so more to come on that. Hopefully later this week, maybe I can do something. Okay. The other item is I need to get somebody on the ground in Massachusetts in an operations capacity. Over the last week, I've shaken the bushes with my contacts, trying to find somebody who is available. I might have found somebody. I'm going to have a chat with him today. My plan is that if he is available and he's willing to do a contract for hire opportunity, I'd like to sign him on Monday. I know that's not our standard process, but I would say we are in a much more serious situation now than we were 6 weeks ago. Our ability to get to our required run rate is seriously in jeopardy, right? Unless we can accelerate, bringing in some of these resources. So that's the plan there. And here's a request for help. Seeing as we don't have the design manager on board, and so here's an analogy. Most of us have taken calculus, right? And we learned about limits. And if you think about, a graph where, calculus broken down to its most basic part is figuring out the area under the graph. And you think about a scaling graph that's kind of going up like this, and the area under the graph represents the deliverables, right, for that effort at that rate. When you move that, when you delay that scaling against the baseline, you miss a lot of area under the graph, which means you're going to miss a lot of deliverables, right? Whether it's you don't have resources, whatever it is, you're just not out there building, right? You don't have opportunities. So during the scaling process, any kind of delay has a much more serious impact on the area under the graph or the deliverable attainment than it will when we're kind of running at a steady state, right? So, and that's where we are now, right? We're behind. So I need help, and not from Mike, right? There's never been a time in AirVivo's history where we needed Mike to be Mike and kind of leading the organization more than we do now, right? So I'm reaching out to everybody other than Mike. One of the things that I'm going to need is I'm going to need somebody to try and schedule the design reviews per our design schedule, at least through the end of the month. We have 1,000 pending. Well, we have a little bit more than 1,000. We've got to do 1,000, but we've got 3 weeks left to do it, and it's taking more time, right? There just isn't a lot of wiggle room. If nobody can do it, I understand, right? We're just gonna have to kind of hold our hands up and say this deliverable is unattainable, right? This is not something that we're going to be able to achieve for several reasons, right? But if I don't get some help, we're not going to get it done. Other than that, I would say, please feel free to, reach out to me, at any time. You'll find that I'm, as Stephanie found out yesterday, that I'm often online late at night. Although I try to keep it quiet. I don't contribute unless there's a call for help, because I want to concentrate on what I'm doing. And also on Wednesday I have office hours. So what office hours means for me is that I will be on the GVC. I'll be sitting there working, right? If you would like to chat about anything, just sign into the GVC at any time during that hour. Then I'll stop what I'm doing, and we can talk about that. Okay, this is a longer than anticipated video. I will probably do another one either later today or tomorrow morning, but I just want you all to know how much I appreciate all the work you're doing. I know that everybody is frustrated. There just isn't enough, there aren't enough resources to go around, and everybody feels like they're behind, and we are behind. So very hard to catch up when you're scaling, but we're gonna have to do our best. So okay, thanks for listening. Talk to you soon. Bye bye.